and welcome to the kickoff edition of Friday Football Fever. I'm Ryan Bailey going solo, and we've got a stacked show for you tonight. The Panthers looking to start the season on the right foot, plus Bruni taking on a state powerhouse and a barn burner that went down to the final seconds last night. But first we start where else? Martin versus Nixon going down for the first time in 2 seasons. This is the first Hammer Bowl since the passing of Dr. Marcus Nelson. So LISD includes his name in this yearly contest. Mustangs coming out fired up, looking for their 6th win in a row in the series, while the Tigers out for the kill and hoping to snap that streak. The first snap of the game, not how the guys in red wanted to start it off. It's a fumble! Guillermo Tovar, the man on the spot for the recovery. Nixon, prime field position for their first drive of the season. Well, the third play of that drive, Nixon going to take advantage, making the turnover pay off. Andres Batista getting in behind his lead blockers, in for the score, make it 7-0 Nixon. After a quick Martin drive, Nixon back to work. This time the Tigers defense standing up. The play strung out by Rafael Hacheta, cleaned up by Ruben Ojeda. Nice little tackle for a loss. It's going to end up forcing a Nixon punt. Well, the Mustang defense coming to play too. The quick toss to the outside. Antonio Calderon coming up, sniffing this one out for the loss. Martin going to end up giving this one back to Nixon. The final seconds of the first quarter, the Mustangs looking for their second score. Hernando Ruiz had a big run to get them to the goal line. Comes up just short here. Alon Diaz would sneak it in on the next snap, the first play of the second quarter. Just like that, 14-0 Nixon. Well, the Martin offense would stall out, giving the Mustangs the ball back, but not for long. Diego Navarro coming up and laying the smack down. A scramble for the ball. It's going to end up with Chris Dillard holding on to the pigskin for the Tigers. They get the turnover. After the Martin defense spent a lot of time on the field, they're back at it before the half. Adam Moncada there, a nice open field tackle for the loss. But under 2 minutes to go, Nixon trying to cap off a good first 24 minutes. Eric Ruiz hitting the hole with a burst of speed. He's in for 6 more. It's 21 Nixon at the break. This one delayed a half hour because of a lightning strike, so they're still playing. They're in the 4th quarter. Martin is trying to make a comeback. It's a 28-13 game over at Shirley Field. That wasn't our only in-town action. Over to the Sac for United South hosting Harlingen. The Panthers coming off a run to the 3rd round of the playoffs last year, looking for a big win over a good Valley team. The opening drive for the road squad, they're going to toss them swing deep and connecting. The pass is at midfield, good for a big play and the score, make it 7-0 Cardinals. Well, after the Panthers get stopped, Harlingen back to offense and getting it done on the ground this time. Isaiah Bell breaking tackles, the big man going to break into open field, making it a 2-score game, 14-0 Harlingen. Bell wasn't done in the half, though. In the second quarter now, he's going to take the direct snap, refusing to go down. South can actually push him out just before crossing over. He would punch it in on the next play. Later in the quarter, the South defense back on the field, finally coming up with a big turnover. Wentz Lopez stepping in front of that pass, bringing it back into Cardinal territory. South would trail 20-3 at the break. It gets a little better as they find the end zone in the second half, but still fall 34-10 to kick off the season. We are just getting started here on Friday Football Fever. When we get back, we head out east to Bruni. The Badgers taking on the 2019 state champs and the former Refugio. Could Bruni pull off the upset? We'll let you know. That's next. We're back with more Fever. The Badgers over in Bruni opening up the season at home against a Texas powerhouse. The Badgers taking on Refugio to open up the 2021 season. Bruni putting themselves to the test right away against the 2019 state champs and current #2 team in the state at the 2A level. Early on, the Badgers already down 21-0 where our cameras get there, and it's not going to get much better as the Bobcats score again. This one going to make it 28-0. This one never really in doubt, even with the Badgers scrapping and clawing their way through. But Refugio just proving to be too much. The Bobcats would lead 56-0 at the half. Bruni, though, does get in the end zone in the second 24 minutes. They fall, though, 56-6 to open up the season. Next up, the Badgers will get to face the same Range team that they beat in the playoffs last year. Well, news not much better up in San Antonio for the Bulldogs. Alexander Falls, 14-10. Alexander actually held a 10-0 lead in this one, but see San Antonio Roosevelt score the final 2 touchdowns of the game. Bulldogs, a rough opener to start. They're going to head for the Corpus area next week. One of our area teams was supposed to take the field tonight, but saw those hopes come to an end on Wednesday thanks to COVID. The guys over in Hebronville were set to open up tonight in Bishop. The Badgers came down with cases of COVID, forcing them to cancel not only this week, but also their Week 2 game as well. This left the Longhorns on the outs, searching for a game at the last minute, trying to replace the Badgers with. That game never materialized. Instead, Hebronville left watching in Week 1. Now they will open the season next Friday night. They play host to their rivals from Freer. We're not done just yet. When we get back, you might have noticed a couple of our teams not mentioned tonight. Well, a handful of our teams. It's because 2 of them playing tomorrow and another 2 played last night. We're going to have those previews and results. That's next. Well, we got a nearly full slate of games tonight. We still have a pair of teams to play tomorrow. Both LBJ and United hitting the road, going north on I-35. For the Wolves, they're trying to build a new identity under first-year head coach Leo Morales. The longtime assistant here in Laredo served the past 2 seasons as the head coach in Rio Grande City. Now he's looking to bring his wide-open attacking style to LBJ on both the offensive and defensive sides of the football.
Well, we're going to go one game at a time right now, and the most important game is this Saturday against John Jay. Making sure that we do things right. We can only control our performance, so we got to make sure we move the ball down the field and try to get into the end zone, and defensively that we're able to line up correctly and make the tackles that we need to do, and and take care of our part.
As Coach said, the Wolves will face off with John Jay tomorrow night before returning home for a showdown with Rio Grande City next week. He's probably got that one circled on his calendar. Well, also going north tomorrow will be the Longhorns. United are going to face off with Pflugerville in a neutral site game in San Antonio. Expectations are always high for the guys in orange, but even more so this year with about 3 dozen returning lettermen. All 11 starters on offense are seniors, meaning they have a wealth of experience to go along with an aggressive, hard-hitting defense. All that combined means the Longhorns eyeing another district title and run through the playoffs. They'll get a chance at their first tune-up tomorrow at Legacy Stadium for opening up their home schedule 1 week from tomorrow against San Antonio Harlan. And finally, our opening game, a good one between Figueroa and Zapata, meeting up at Shirley Field last night. The last time these two met up was to kick off the 2019 season. That game went to the Toros in a 5-point win. With the very first snap of the season, the Toros with the ball, a massive hole right up the middle. Oscar Vez off to the races. He got one man to beat, just can't quite beat him there. Dragged down inside, deep inside Zapata territory. Looks like it's going to be an easy 3 at least, but instead the drive stalls out. Zapata blocks the field goal, and we're headed the other way. Well, after a long Hawks drive that has him within striking distance, Alan Pena on the handoff. He's going to find a little running room, scoot in for 6. Zapata on the board, first up 7-0. After holding Figueroa to a 3-and-out, Zapata right back to work on offense. Landon Martinez flush out of the pocket. No one on the contain. He's in for the score. Just like that, 14-0 road team with the lead. Into the second quarter, more from Martinez. Again, going to be forced off his spot. Watch the poise this young man has. Whoop, just eluding defenders. This kid, just a freshman, looks like he's going to be a good one. Didn't even play last year because Zapata didn't have 8th grade football. It's a 21-0 lead. The second play of the Toros drive, they're going to need something good to happen. They're going to get in a big way. Lethan Solis, the dime, right on the money, hitting Edwin Reyes, then he's off to the races. 75 yards later, Figueroa is on the scoreboard. Can they hold the Hawks down and make a comeback? Well, it's not going to happen on the next drive. Martinez going to come up with a quick strike to Pena. He looks to beat Corral, but kind of popping up and out of the pack, refusing to go down. He's going to find the end zone again. It's 27-7 at the half. The second half, though, would be a totally different story. The Toros would come firing back thanks to 3 Jacob Lozano touchdowns. It's a 1-point game. Figueroa had a 32-yard field goal to win it at the buzzer, but the kick is wide. Zapata holding on for a 27-26 victory. That one got us off on the right foot. Nixon coming up with their 6th win in a row over their heated rivals from Martin. This one just went final 28-13 over at Shirley Field. So congrats to the Mustangs. Also, once again, United South goes down big. Bruni goes down big, and Alexander in a hard-fought one falls up in San Antonio. So a rough week for Laredo schools overall. Nixon, the only one from the Gateway City coming up with a win. We'll see how they fare next week. Well, that's going to do it for us here. That was week 1. We got 10 more to go, plus a playoff. We'll see you back here next Friday night. Have a great weekend, everybody.